So, welcome to my channel, The Future is Golden, and today I want to talk about the term multi-generationally mixed and how it's not a racial category. So, I've noticed that a lot of people are starting to talk about this term and it's becoming an accepted term, and people, I guess, they want to capitalize on the discussion regarding the multi-generationally mixed population. And, some people, they want to control the narrative regarding the term. So I just want to say it is not a racial category. So for the people who are attempting to make it like a global type of definition where it's defining races across the globe, that really isn't what it is. So the term that is currently being used for people who have predominantly black and white descent is mulatto. However, mulatto, again, is a word that some people find offensive. It often isn't used in academic literature. And the term multi-generationally mixed replaced that term for a short period of time during discussions around racial identity and creating a census category again for people who were of significant black and white descent. Um, I noticed that some people are messing around with the percentages. They want to try to redefine the label. They want to try to apply it to all kinds of different groups. It really doesn't work like that. So, first of all, let's debunk some of the myths. Currently, you have a label that is applied to people with one black and white parent, and that is called biracial. In the past, they would have been called a mulatto, but if they had children with each other and their children were significantly mixed, and two biracial people had a child, that child would also have been called a mulatto. So over time, there was a significant number of people who fell into the category of mulatto, and there were also other categories like quadroon and octoroon. However, today, all of those terms are pretty much frowned upon as identity names. Now, do people use them racially? Yes, but it isn't something you would identify as. Now, some people in some parts of the country, of the United States, I'm going to add, may feel like it is an acceptable term to use. And it certainly does go by where you live, because in some regions it will be considered a very offensive term, whereas in others it wouldn't be. But the reason I want to bring this up is because in those regions, like where I am, the term MGM or multi-generationally mixed is just a little bit more acceptable. Basically, you're just telling people that you're mixed over generations. Now, I noticed that sometimes people are also trying to apply this to other groups or ethnic mixtures of people, but it really doesn't work. And I'll explain that in another video. This is really about people who would have been inside of the mulatto census category in the United States. And that census category was taken off the census, and instead all of the people who were black and white, along with the black population, were classified as black or Negro or African American. So when we're talking about multi-generationally mixed people, we're talking about people from biracial lineages that have stood over time. We're really not talking about Latinos. Latinos have their own census category. They don't need another category to apply to themselves. It's really just a discussion about people who are mixed race, but not biracial. It also doesn't really apply to people in other countries. Although it's a vague term, it would be nonsensical for someone from another country to come to the United States and call themselves an MGM. People would most likely misunderstand what you're talking about, since they would assume that you were of black and white descent. And there are a lot of people who obviously don't care um, whether or not they are a part of another identity. They will call themselves that anyway. Maybe they'll get surgery, wigs, colored contacts, skin bleach, tanning products, and so on, because they feel like they're entitled to be whoever they want to be. So, you're not going to stop people from saying that they are something that you may feel like they're not. But what we can do is know that when we're talking about defining a group of people, we're just talking about this specific group of people who are currently classified and categorized as Black American in the United States, but in the past they would have been identified as mulatto. Seeing them phenotypically, most people would assume that they are mixed race, and certain arguments around race mixing don't really qualify for this discussion. But I want to thank you, and I just wanted to clarify because I noticed that people were leaving comments regarding multi-generationally mixed people, and even some people may be writing books on the topic, which is really interesting because if they're not from America, they're not a Black American person, I would question why that person would write it. No shade to them, but it's almost like as if you're trying to reframe a narrative that doesn't have anything to do with other groups of people outside of the United States. And I noticed that also I had talked about how there are significant populations globally of people who are mixed with European and different types of African. However, that term still does not really apply to them because they have their own terminology. So one of the things I always say on this channel is that I do not use terminology from other countries for people like vaguely or globally. Like if I'm from the United States and I'm mixed, I don't call myself a Pardo or a Moreno, for example, because those are terms from other mixed race groups and they deserve to be represented by those terms, not myself. It's just a matter of respect for other people's identity, really. But again, thank you for watching my channel, and please like, share, and subscribe.